What's up, guys? Simone Fan 101, and I've already watched the Royal Rumble. I have the winner of the Royal Rumble contest, as well as the whole list of all the participants of the contest, as well as the Rumble itself. So, let's get started, shall we? So, oh yeah, and I made a predictions video a few days ago, so I will be going over, my predictions score, whether or not I got any right. On the pre-show, I didn't watch the full pre-show because I only watched the important stuff and the ending of the match, which I was surprised the winners of the match were Jack Swagger and Mark Henry. Considering what happened to them later on, what was the point of them winning the match? From what I heard, the match wasn't great. Then again, the Ascension was in it. They had a thrown together team of I forgot they were. This is the team I forgot when I did the prediction video. Damien Sandow and Darren Young. I thought if not the Dudley Boys, probably Sandow and Young because the crowds still love Damien Sandow and Darren Young is one half of the primetime players, despite them being on hiatus. Not because they're heel or face or anything, but they're just on hiatus because Titus O'Neil's doing this stupid thing with Stardust. I really think they should stop. But yeah. So the fact that Henry and Swagger won, I didn't have a problem with it because they're American, they represent a certain majority or minority of the crowd or whatever. Swagger being a real American, Mark Henry being an Olympian, obviously representing the U.S. I believe he was at least back in the 90s. So I just thought it could have been good if they just didn't fuck it up later, which I'll explain later. The actual pay-per-view, the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. It was actually a very good pay-per-view, a crap load better than the last 2 years, including the Rumble match, which I'll get to. I have to say, not the Rumble match, but the pay-per-view. It was very good. It started out great and ended mostly great. But I'll explain. Sorry about that. So the opening match, which I was expecting the U.S. title to open the match and to open the show. It was the Intercontinental Championship. It was Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. Dean Ambrose defending his Intercontinental title against Owens in a last man standing match. Now, this was a great match. Definitely a great match. Now, I expected this to be the match of the night. I was actually kind of shocked it wasn't. For a while there, it was. So I watched the Rumble match. I'll get to that. The match between Ambrose and Owens was very good, very hard hitting. It wasn't a masterpiece or anything. I didn't go into the match expecting Jericho and Triple H from 2000. Nobody should expect that. But it was a great match with a very good ending with Owens being backdropped onto two tables from the top ring corner to the floor. I thought that was very good. Now, if there's anything I was disappointed at, it was the fact that it seemed that knowing Owens and Ambrose, they could do a little more. But it was a great match regardless. And I wish they could have used those two steel chairs that Owens, the 4 to 5 steel chairs that Owens set up. I'm like, god damn, that would have hurt. But great match. Next match is the WWE Tag Team Championship match with the New Day defending against the Usos. This was a solid match. It was a good match, but we saw this match so many times that it was one of those matches that you see enough of them, you tend to get desensitized, and that the match lost its luster. It just lost its luster. Even though the finish was actually very good. It's just that we need to have more tag teams. Bring up Jordan and Gable. Bring up Enzo and Cass. Bring up whoever. Or bring back whoever. Or put the Dudley Boys back in the spot. for God's sakes, instead of having them on the fucking pre-show. But New Day won, which was the good part, and the Usos, lost, and what was actually a good ending. Basically, what happened is Kofi was about to get powerbombed by I think it was Jey Uso. I confuse the two all the time, but it was one of the Usos. Big E quickly went up on the rope, like very sneakily did it, like lightly tagged in Kofi. Ref saw it, but one of the Usos didn't. They powerbombed him. They were about to go up to the top rope for the splash. They did it earlier tonight, in the match. And Big E caught him mid splash and hit him with the big ending, which I'm not a fan of the big ending kind of finish. Honestly, Tyrus makes it look in TNA. Tyrus, formerly Brodus Clay, makes it look more, like it hurts. Big E, it just looks like a move. But it was a good finish. Solid match, but it was the worst match of the night. I just hope these two don't have a Raw match, in the next coming weeks. And I'll get to Raw in my Raw review, because I just watched it last night, and I got notes of it. And the next match is the U.S. title match with Alberto Del Rio defending against the Kalisto, who's the former U.S. champion. Now, I got my two previous predictions right. This one I got wrong, but I said in the predictions video, I don't want to be... It's not that I want Del Rio to win, but I know I'm right. I so terribly wanted to be wrong, and my prayer was granted. I was wrong. Kalisto won the match, and what was another good match, but again, desensitized due to them having 2 to 3 matches, 2 to 3 title matches in just the past couple weeks on free TV. It was a good match. It was better than the Usos match, but it gave that good feeling win, the feel good win, and they definitely did put over Kalisto pretty much. And I saw a backstage interview. He was hyped that he won that title. The next match, the Divas title match with Charlotte defending her Divas Championship with Ric Flair in her corner against Becky Lynch. Now, I was looking forward to this match because the way they've been building up Becky Lynch has made me so happy. She was always in a sense, the third wheel of the 4 horsewomen. And even when they came up to the main roster, she was the third wheel. Think about it. You had Charlotte, daughter of Ric Flair. Sasha Banks, who's the boss and got over as this bitch heel. Bayley, who's still in NXT and is kind of like the John Cena of NXT, without being despised. And then you have Becky Lynch, who's more of the wrestler. She's like the wrestler's wrestler. She goes in and kicks some ass. That's what she does. Then again, her nickname is Last Kicker, but she hasn't been doing a lot of that till the past few weeks. And she's been getting very good on the mic, on the promo. She's been doing, at least in the backstage, with that JoJo promo a couple weeks ago. And what we got here was a very good match. It was definitely a really good match. They got 10 minutes. Each match, with the exception of the opener and the ending, got about 10, 11 minutes. This match got 11 minutes. It was a very good match with a somewhat of a smirky ending. But one part I did like of the match, and people shat on this for whatever reason, was their reaction to Ric Flair Ric Flair kissing Becky Lynch during the match, trying to interfere. I do have a problem with it, but my problem is not what many people say. Many people's problem with it was that it's disgusting. It's icky to look at, and it's just wrong. And I'm like, this is Ric Flair. What the hell else do you expect him to do? He's called Kiss Stealing in his catchphrase. The kiss stealing, wheel dealing son of a gun. Yeah, that kiss stealing is there for a reason. My problem with it was that they didn't send him to the back because, someone interferes, referee has to send him to the back, right? Lack of consistency, I will say. But it was definitely very funny. The ending, not so, spectacular, as Becky lost because Ric Flair threw his jacket, landed on her head, was about to punch Ric Flair, but Ric Flair got off the apron. Charlotte poked her in the eye, rolled her up for the pin, and there's the 1, 2, 3. Now, this match is special, not just because they finally gave this match some time, but because the post-match. Out came Sasha Banks. I was so thrilled when Sasha Banks came out. It was very... the crowd popped. I loved it. It was a cool moment. Sasha came in, kicked Becky out of the ring, who she was on her way out anyways, and then supposedly, shook hands and everything with Charlotte. But then she got her with the backstabber and pulled her into the bank statement, basically saying, "Hey, bitch, I'm after your title." And she didn't come out with Team Bad, which I was so happy about because she really needs to get away from that Team Bad shit. It's bullshit. If they get away from Team Bad, if she's out of Team Bad, period, I'll be so happy. The next match was the Royal Rumble match, the main event of the night, and oh boy, this was the best, I'm going to say right now, not just better than the last 2 Royal Rumbles, but the best Royal Rumble match since 2008. That is what I'm saying. Best Rumble match since 2008. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole match, although I do want to. I'm just going to go over some key points. I have the list right here. The Royal Rumble contest winner is Bradley Brown, who drew number 30. The winner ended up being Triple H. Congratulations, Bradley. You have bragging rights, I guess. I can't exactly give you money. I'm sorry. Yeah, Bradley Brown, you won. And with that said, let's go over the Rumble. Number 1, we all know I'll keep Roman Reigns. Number 2, who nobody drew for my contest for, was Rusev. Good thing, too, because he was out in, less than a minute. I mean, these were the 2 guys that closed the Royal Rumble last year. And like last year, Rusev was toppled by Roman Reigns like he was nothing. And then thrown out the ring like he was, shit. Which he isn't. He's actually a good wrestler. Just give him time. It was bullshit, I could say, but if there's any consolation, number 3 came out. Number 3 being my all-time favorite wrestler, which is surprising because for many years it was The Undertaker, but number 3 comes out, we get, different music, we don't know who it is. On the Titantron, it says "I am," and then a second later, "Phenomenal." Remember, this is Orlando, Florida, so they know who this guy is. Fucking crowd went nuts. They went fucking nuts. Out comes the phenomenal AJ Styles. With that name, too. I was so fucking happy. I predicted he was going to debut at the Rumble. I didn't say he was going to debut in the Rumble match, although I wanted him to. But I was so fucking happy that this guy got in the Rumble match. It was such a mark-out moment for everyone. And because Orlando, Florida is basically TNA home base, the fucking crowd, they know who AJ Styles is. They went apeshit. AJ Styles was the most over guy in the match. The only way his chance would have been drowned out is if Daniel Bryan returned, which, by the way, he did not. And it was just, oh man, it was such a great moment for not only AJ, but all the fans, including myself, who have watched him over the years, and who just earlier this month stole the fucking year, possibly, by having a 5-star balls-to-the-wall match with Shinsuke Nakamura, who, I believe is heading to WWE. He should be heading to WWE. Probably going to debut after WrestleMania. Okay, I'm going way off topic. Anyway, AJ Styles came out. They worked. Number 4, Tyler Breeze. Oh, God, they really... Vince McMahon, you really fucked over Tyler Breeze when you had something there. Because he was thrown out. He got a couple moves, including the beauty shot. And then he was thrown out like trash by AJ and Reigns. Bullshit. Number 5, out came Curtis Axel and the rest of the social outcast, who, by the way, Slater, who was the other one? Bo Dallas and, fuck it, I don't even know who the third guy is. It was Adam Rose. Heath Slater, Adam Rose, and Bo Dallas did not compete in the Rumble match. But Curtis Axel did. He came in, hit a couple moves, like Tyler Breeze, was thrown out, was pretty much clotheslined out of the ring like garbage by AJ Styles. Number 6, who nobody got a spot for, out came Chris Jericho, who ended up being in the final 6, which was very awesome. But yeah, out came Chris Jericho. He worked Roman Reigns. He worked AJ Styles, which I will get to their Raw match, later in my Raw review. And they had a fucking awesome, little three-way there for a minute. And it was very good to see. Sorry, my thing slipped. The next couple entrants. Oh yeah, the next one was my number, who I happened to pick, not on purpose, of course. Number 7, out came Kane. I was thinking, oh god, this guy's gonna be out in like 2 minutes. Actually, surprised. I was actually surprised that he lasted longer than he did in the last couple of years. I was actually surprised at that, which made me happy because at least my pick actually went long somewhat. So the next guys came out: Goldust, then Ryback, Kofi Kingston, Titus O'Neil. Nothing really much to say there except Kofi Kingston with New Day, who Woods and Big E did not enter, was entertaining. And Kofi got his spot like, oh, I saved myself from the Rumble. That kind of thing. The next one was... Oh, yeah. R-Truth, who came out, pulled out a ladder, because he thought he was in a ladder match. Probably reached up for a title. There was nothing there, and Kane threw him out like garbage. I thought it was a funny moment, but at the same time, I thought this was just a waste of R-Truth. The next guys that came out were Luke Harper and Stardust. Now, after Luke Harper came out, Vince McMahon spearheaded the attack on Roman Reigns. They pulled him under the ropes, threw him out. They didn't throw him out of the Rumble like he was eliminated, no. But they beat on him. It was Rusev, Del Rio, and Sheamus, because, Barrett's still hurt. And they beat on him. Rusev got his kick. Del Rio got his kick. Sheamus got the bro kick. See where I'm getting at here? Too many fucking kicks. And then while Stardust was coming out, Rusev did that splash from the 2 announce tables onto a third one, which they did back in 2014, the Survivor Series. A splash that he missed, by the way. And Roman Reigns was out until number 29 came out, and I'll get to that. But still, after that came, just other guys. Big Show, who the fuck cares? Various guys were eliminated. Neville came out, which I was very, happy for. He lasted a little bit, which I'm surprised that he did, considering that Vince McMahon probably doesn't like Neville. The next 2 that came out were... Actually, the next 4 were Braun Strowman, who actually was not that bad looking. He did what he had to do. He was the monster. He played the role that he had to play, and he did very good at it. And eliminated Big Show like he was nothing, which I haven't seen a Big Show elimination like that, honestly, since 2002, when Kane eliminated him like he was nothing. After that came Kevin Owens, who was the guy that eliminated AJ Styles. a few seconds after he came out. They, brawled for a second. Then he hit a move, and then while Styles was going for the Styles Clash on Neville, Kevin Owens threw him out of the Rumble. Now, on one hand, as an AJ Styles fan, I wanted him to go to the end. Even the Final Four, if they gave him a chance. I wanted to push him hard, but at the same time, Kevin Owens was probably the best person to throw him out, because if it was Roman Reigns that did it, that guy would be fucking drowned in boos and horrible chants. And they would be cheering. It would be 2015 all over again. But they didn't do that, thank God. AJ, still got chants afterwards, so the happy thing there. Kevin Owens wasn't drowned in boos because, it's Kevin Owens. They know each other. They're not going to fucking boo Kevin Owens like they did Roman Reigns last year. Thank God. Afterwards came Dean Ambrose, who he fought for a little bit with Owens, but that's not what matters. What matters is who came out at number 20. The WWE return, not to NXT, but WWE return of Sami Zayn. I was so happy that they actually did this. This is something they haven't done since, I believe, 2004, when Randy Orton was number 2. He was mocking Mick Foley for a while, since December of 03, and then Mick Foley came out and just eliminated his ass, including himself. Now, we didn't get the self-elimination from Zayn, but he eliminated Kevin Owens in what was definitely a great moment for Sami Zayn. And it was awesome to see. Kevin Owens was only in the Rumble for a few minutes, but in the few minutes he was there, he had 2 great moments. Eliminated Styles, and was eliminated by a returning Sami Zayn, which I hope to God they get a WrestleMania match out of that. Afterwards came, and remember, I gotta look at the list, because obviously I'm not gonna remember everything. Afterwards came Eric Rowan, Wyatt family, slowly gathering up. There's now 3 of them. We haven't seen Bray yet. Out came Mark Henry, who was immediately body slammed by Braun Strowman and thrown out like crap. And I'll get to this when I get to Jack Swagger. Hold on. Out comes the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Now, the guy who pulled number 23, Six God, he actually called Brock Lesnar being out at number 23. And Lesnar came out at number 23. He came in and destroyed basically everyone. Zayn was out of the Rumble at this point. He was just eliminated by Braun Strowman a few seconds before Lesnar came out. But Lesnar came out, toppled the Wyatt family. He eliminated Eric Rowan first. He was going Suplex City on their asses, including Ambrose and not Reigns, and Jericho. That's right. Well, actually, not Jericho, because he's in his mid-40s now. But so Jack Swagger came out next. Went after Lesnar. Lesnar fucking just F5'd him in seconds. Swagger was gone after 15 seconds. And this goes to my point earlier. It's like, why do the pre-show match in the first place? Why do it in the first place if these guys are just gonna fucking get destroyed by Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar so late in them? They got late picks, and they were destroyed by 2 behemoths, especially Lesnar, being a behemoth himself. And it's like, who cares about Swagger Henry? It's not impressive anymore. Even though Swagger's a former world champion, Henry's a former world champion, nobody cares because they've been conditioned to look at these guys like losers. I like Henry. I like Swagger. But Swagger's future is out of the WWE. Henry's going to retire soon. This is just disappointing to me. Next on the list, The Miz. He came out, didn't get in the ring, but was acting like a jackass and went on commentary on the not the Spanish announce table, at the, with JBL, Cole, and Byron Saxton, who, by the way, I barely even recognized he was there. He was so forgettable. The next 5 picks were, oh yeah, and after Miz came out, no, not after Miz. After Miz came out was Del Rio, who proceeded to get his ass kicked by Brock Lesnar. After that came, after that came Bray Wyatt. He came out, I think it was a stare down with Lesnar. The rest of the Wyatt family were out at this point. Then the Wyatt family comes in after like a minute or so. They get Lesnar out. I love Brock Lesnar. I think he should have been in the Rumble match longer. Maybe even in the final 4, or at least after number 30 comes out. Because to me, this was not a great use of Lesnar, but it was still enjoyable for the time he was in there and just destroyed everyone. Number 28 was Dolph Ziggler, which was very cool to see because, I'm a fan of Dolph Ziggler, despite, him being booked terribly at times and not being taken advantage of with momentum. After Ziggler came Sheamus, and out comes Roman Reigns. Oh God, I knew exactly what they were doing. They were pulling Steve Austin from '99 when Steve Austin was taken out of action for quite a while. Then he comes back in and just works the rest of the match. And I knew what they were doing here. They were gonna do the conquering babyface shit, where they want him. At least Vince McMahon wants to get behind him as a babyface, but fans were booing him because they knew the shit that they were pulling. They were pulling the I'm a conquering babyface. I'm gonna go out there despite being hurt. This was fucking almost Super Cena all over again. It was bullshit. And it didn't make Roman Reigns look any better. In fact, he was just drowned out in booze in his home state of Florida. Sheamus came out. Roman Reigns came out with not an F5, but a Superman punch. Came in, fought some people. I think he eliminated someone here or there. And then number 30 came out, and this is what I predicted. Triple H came out at number 30. The crowd popped big time. He was basically the babyface of the match. And he came in, had a stare down with Reigns. He, as in Triple H, pedigreed Ziggler. Wyatt tried to attack Reigns, and then he speared Wyatt. And then they decided to fight each other. It was very good. I predicted this after the ass kicking he took after TLC last month in 2015, and it was a very good moment. And from this point on, okay, I was thinking, yeah, all these guys seem like stars. Even Bray Wyatt, as terribly as he's been booked, at least seemed like a star, just at glance. The one guy who felt missing, who felt out of place, was Dolph Ziggler. And I read online that Triple H, he's a fan of Dolph Ziggler. He likes Dolph Ziggler. And Ziggler tried to eliminate Triple H, and speaking of which, Hunter got some pretty good close calls as far as almost being eliminated, because he went over the top rope onto the apron. He was super kicked by Ziggler. He actually let go of the ropes nearly, and right when he was about to fall, he grabbed onto the ropes. And that's why I like Triple H as an in-ring performer so much. And Ziggler went for it again. Instead, he pulled Ziggler over. I think it was Bray Wyatt that eventually eliminated Ziggler. But he made Ziggler look like he was this close to eliminating him. So he made Ziggler look like $1 million in that few moments. He made Dolph Ziggler look better in 30 seconds than WWE has done in months. In all of 2015, he's done better for Ziggler in 30 seconds than all of last year. Fucking retarded, isn't it? Hold on a second. Yeah, that was just the phone is on, low battery. I gotta quickly get through this. Bray Wyatt was eliminated by Triple H and Sheamus. Jericho, I believe, was eliminated by Bray Wyatt before that. The final four was Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Triple H, and Sheamus. Sheamus was eliminated first. And then Roman Reigns was eliminated next by Triple H, who got a good pop out of it. And then I was sitting there looking, it's Triple H versus the Intercontinental Champion, Dean Ambrose. I was happy to see this because it's Dean Ambrose, and like I said, Triple H made Ziggler like $1 million. Triple H made Ambrose look just as good with the final two in the ring, and Triple H did eventually eliminate Ambrose, but it was very good. Dean Ambrose got a pretty damn good rub off of being the final two against Triple H, who, let's face it, is a legend at this point. Despite all the shit that's happened to him over the years and that he's done over the years, he's a legend. And, so there you go. Triple H wins the Royal Rumble, becomes WWE Champion, and I would have been fine with that, just him going the top rope. You know, the pyro goes off at the WrestleMania sign. There we go. One little part I didn't like about this was when Stephanie and Vince came out. I'm like, this is fucking WrestleMania 2000 all over again. When Stephanie, Vince, and Triple H were celebrating at the end of the match.